Hi everybody, welcome to my beginner's quick start guide to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019's Gunfight 2v2 mode. Now the first thing is know the rules. So Gunfight is a 4-player 2 versus 2 game. It's on a series of maps that are custom made for this game mode, which makes it very, very special indeed. And everybody gets the same guns when you start at the beginning of a round. So there's no choosing classes or choosing guns and things like that. The loadouts switch every 2 rounds, and the first duo to win 6 rounds wins. So the game could be over in about 3 or 4 minutes maximum, if you win every single round, or it could go on to over 10 minutes if it goes 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4 exactly. And when you get to 5, that's the match point. That's when whoever gets to 6 wins. Now, each round only lasts 40 seconds, less than a minute. That's how fast these games are. And then if after that 40 seconds nobody's won, in other words nobody's killed both of the other players, overtime begins. And overtime is where a flag will be on the map and you've got to capture that flag by standing by it for 3 seconds, and this only lasts for 10 seconds, this overtime period. You probably notice at the beginning of the game when you can see where you are, you can see where the enemies are. That's where you see where the overtime flag's going to be. So that's where you can then choose to either push the flag, or stay back from the flag, or try and kill the players. If nobody captures the flag and therefore wins, it then goes down to who's got the most health. If that's all equal, then it's a draw. Although I don't think in the whole time I've played Gunfight so far, I don't think I've ever had a draw. And every 2 rounds the teams switch to opposite sides of the map. Now that probably sounds a lot more complicated than it really is. The important thing to remember also is the fact that there's no health respawn. So when you get damaged, that's it. You stay damaged. You can't regenerate health. There's no extra ammo either on the map. So it's very unlikely you'll run out of ammo, but with the pistols, I've run out of ammo once or twice, I think, if you're really blasting away at long range to somebody, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, in the pistol-only mode, where you only get one gun. As far as I can tell, the loadout that you get is fairly random. You do get the same guns and attachments coming up, but I think there's a random element to it as well. Okay, so next thing is you should really try and learn the maps, but that will come with time. As you get to know the maps, you'll get to know them up. And if you can, squad up with a friend who's on a mic, because then you'll do much better. But remember, you need good comms discipline. There's no point chatting away on mic with a friend, because you won't be able to hear the footsteps, and the footsteps are incredibly important. Make sure you use a headset and turn it up loud, because as I said, footsteps are super important. And you can go into the settings and you can change the sound settings to headphones or headsets, or I think there's Infinity Ward Crunch or something, which is probably designed specifically to make hearing things like footsteps louder and gun explosions and grenade explosions quieter. That's what normally they have that mode. However, I would say you can have fun and do very, very well with random teammates, even who aren't on mic, and even if they're not very good. As long as they're there to be shot at by the enemy, so that the enemy can give away their position, that's cool. The only problem you get with random is if they go away from keyboard, if they go AFK for several rounds, or they bugger off, and it leaves you with 1 versus 2 rounds, several 1 versus 2 rounds, because they're very difficult to win. Now at the beginning you'll see when the loadout changes, the loadout pops up on the screen with the guns you've got and the throwables you've got. So get to know those guns. Most of them are fairly obvious, shotguns, pistols, sniper rifles, but you've also got like the LMGs and the DMRs, and it's whether they're fully auto or they're semi-auto, that sort of thing. And obviously you can change the fire rate by pressing and holding triangle on the PlayStation, or it will be Y. I think is it press and hold triangle or press and hold Y? Can't quite remember. Anyway, you have to change the fire rate, but just be aware of it, of what type of gun it is, and then you're going to use the appropriate tactics. So if one of your loadout is a sniper rifle, you're probably not going to rush with the sniper rifle. You're either going to hand back and engage people from longer ranges, or swap to the secondary. And sometimes the secondaries are better than the primaries. Sometimes you get like a shotgun and a sniper rifle, and the shotgun can be better a sawn-off shotgun can be better off running around with. Also, get to make a note of the throwables you've got. You know, you'll get thrags, you'll get stun grenades, you get molotovs, you get knives, you get claymores, because you don't want to be in the situation where you see someone, you think, I'm going to stun them, and you go to throw it, and it's actually a throwing knife, or you think, oh, I'm going to frag them, and you go to throw it, and it's a claymore. That sort of thing. So just be aware of what you've got and use them appropriate that way. Shotguns are really powerful, actually. That's something I'd like to add as well. Have lots and lots of success in the shotgun rounds. Now, there's also the UI. So if you have a look at the screen, you'll see you've got the your gun and your ammo down in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Yeah, it is triangle, and press triangle to change fire mode, or Y on the Xbox. And then on the bottom left hand corner, you've got the number of rounds you're doing, and on the top in the middle, this is super important, you've got the health meters. So you know the exact health of you and your colleague, your teammate, but also the enemy as well. So you each get 100 health. So that gives you a kind of a clue of what you might want to be doing. So if your teammate kills somebody and you see the last person has only got a little bit of health, chances are they're going to be camping somewhere or playing very passively, and it might be your chance to push them. Similarly, if you lose lots of health, but the enemies have got loads of health left, you might want to sort of think about what you're going to do at that point. That really comes into its own at the end of the game when you're in the capture the flag situation, whereby if it goes to a stalemate, if you're on low health, you know that you're just going to lose, and that because they'll know that you're on low health as well, so you have to make a move. So if, for example, you're on 25 health, your enemy's on 50 health, they could just be hanging back at the end because they know they're going to win. So at that point, you've either got to try and capture the flag, or you've got to push them. If it's the other way round, you've still got to be very, very careful. You've got the advantage if it goes to a draw, but it does mean that if the other person has to make a move, they've either got to go for that flag or they've got to come for you. So if you can get into a situation where you can cover the flag and also cover the map, so you're not an easy target, and listen out for them running towards you, because that's probably what they're going to be doing, then that's a great option as well. So let's talk about the nitty-gritty of some basic starting tactics for the gunfight battlefield. And the good thing is that the lanes on the maps are roughly similar. That most of them are a bit like mini versions of the classic Treyarch multiplayer maps. Basically, you've got 2 lanes at the sides, a left and a right lane, maybe at various heights, and 1 in the middle. And so the tactics you can come up with and kind of learn are pretty easy to remember. Also, I think it's always good to think about what you're going to do before you start at the beginning of the round, because it can be quite stressful, this game, especially when you get into the last rounds, when maybe you're in a 5 versus 3 situation, and you're on the losing side, and you think, right, we need to pull it back, just so that you can calm your nerves, so that your shot will be good, and then you can be effective. Also, it means that you kind of know, right, so I say I'm on the Pine map, I've got an LMG, I'm going to push to the side, and maybe I'm going to throw a grenade over the top, or I'm going to use a stun when I get to this particular situation. And so the kind of tactics we can talk about is, and I've given them names, but you've got sort of rear centre, which basically means stay at the back near the spawn, covering the long sights. Probably better for when you're using an AR with a scope or a sniper. And the variants for that could be rear left and rear right. So this is a very passive strategy. So you're going to move to stay at the back, move to the left or the right, and just cover those long sight lines using cover. Then you could do something like mid-center. So you go straight down the middle, because there's normally some sort of cover in the middle of the map, and you hold that position looking for them to push. Better for assault rifles, shotguns, SMGs, pistols, that sort of thing. And the variants, this could be mid-left and mid-right. So again, the idea is that you push to the middle at the left of the map, you get to the cover, and you hold that position looking for where the enemy would be. And then the final one could be like far center. So this is where you push down the middle straight towards the enemy spawn, and you keep going because you're looking to kill them. And again, the variants could be, you know, far left, far right, you know, so you're pushing all the way down the flanks to loop round and get them from the sides. Now, you and your teammate, you obviously can do the same starting tactics and follow each other, or you can use separate tactics. The important thing, though, is that you vary the tactics from round to round, unless you notice that your enemy is always doing the same thing. And just, I like to remember something about first-person shooters, is that everybody's right-handed in first-person shooters, and people tend to like to go to the right, because that means that you can, if you see the way the guy's holding his gun, he's right-handed, isn't he? It means you can kind of look round things, or it appears like you can look round things better from the right, so people naturally go that way. So you can take advantage of that. So you know that probably lots of times someone's going to be pushing to your left if you're at the opposite ends of the map. So you know, so just watch out for that and respond accordingly for that. The old saying that plans don't survive contact with the enemy applies to gunfights too. So generally, you have to change your tactics as soon as you hear gunfire and you or the enemy take some damage or you take some kills. And this is where listening out is so important. You know, listen out for the gunfire and see which team takes the damage or the kill, because that then gives you the information about where the enemy potentially might be for the next couple of seconds, and so you can react to that. And another thing as well is, at the moment in gunfight, and I'm sure we'll see them change this, is that especially on maps like this, like Pine, if you aim down sights and look towards the bushes where you think someone might be, you might not actually be able to see them, but what will pop up is the little red writing with their name on, and this is very useful. I can imagine we'll see a hardcore version of Gunfight where this doesn't happen, but often you'll see the red writing before you actually see the person. Now for me, depending on the situation and where I am, if my teammate gets the kill, I'll then carefully make my way towards them. They will probably have taken some damage and they'll be vulnerable to a quick counter from the other enemy player, because they'll want to even the odds with a kill trade. So if I can get to my teammate first and support them, we can then hunt the remaining player together, giving us the advantage. And also, if we're in the situation where we have to offer a kill trade, so I get killed or the other my teammate gets killed, we can then kill the enemy player, because we'll be in roughly the same place and know where he is, quickly, and then win the round. If I get the first kill, I tend to carry on with my starting strategy. But now I know that the remaining enemy will know where I am, because I've shot my gun, and they're probably either at least running towards me or aiming their weapon in my direction, so you need to be extra careful about that. If my squad mate gets killed and then I'm in a 1v2 situation, I'll either lock down my position if I can, depending on where I am on the map, or I'll go super aggressive, and this can often really work, especially if you're running shotguns, because you need to take out quickly one of the enemy to even the odds, because as soon as it goes to a 1v1 situation, you know, all bets are off. You know, you can still win. Otherwise, if it's still 1v2, they can split up and flank you and get an angle on you. You know, one of them can be engaging you, just firing at your cover, making you keep your head down while the other guy goes wide. Or they can hunt you together looking for a kill trade. You know, so they can rush you. You might kill the first guy, but you'll get damaged by him, and the second guy will finish you off. And then, if you can get yourself into that 1v1 situation, it tends to be down to who spots who first, or more accurately, who hears who first. Look out for where they might be. Look out for the route that you think they might be taking. Remember, you can move around these maps so fast that someone can be at the other end of the map in your spawn and back again in no time. but listen out for those footsteps. So many rounds I've won literally just by listening. Right, okay, I know they've just run past me to my right. I'm going to go over here. They're going to come out of that hole there. They do, and you blat them. So, one thing I would recommend is we've just really covered sort of basic tactics here, basic starting tactics and basic tactics, what you can do in the game. And I'd recommend really check out Exclusive Ace's video on Gunfight on the internet. He is really good at the parkour side of this, so moving around the map very quickly. You can probably guess by my footage that I have my sensitivity pretty low. He has his a lot higher, and you can get into all sorts of different places on these maps that you wouldn't have thought. So you can get on top of the containers, top of cars, and you can totally surprise your enemies with the positioning that you choose to take. So check those guys. And remember, the beauty with Gunfight is there's nothing wrong with taking your time and going slow to keep quiet, you know, using heads, glitches, creeping around the map, or you can rush, you know, and charge around, you know, just mix it up. Because the fantastic thing that I really enjoy about this is that you can change your tactics, you can change your play styles from round to round. They're very quick, punchy rounds. They start again, you know, quick, and it's so much fun. And that's the main thing with Gunfight. Have fun with this game mode. It really is very, very good indeed. So anyway, they're my main sort of beginner's guide, hints and tips to getting started with Gunfight. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you give it a go. Don't stay with Team Deathmatch Domination and the larger modes in Modern Warfare 2019. Have a look at Gunfight 2v2. Who would have thought a 2v2 mode in Call of Duty could be so much fun? And one thing I haven't mentioned at all is the other mode, OSP, on-site procurement, which I quickly squeezed in. So that's the mode that you're seeing now, where you pick up your weapons on the map, and this is, you know, a fun variant as well. Give it a go. But anyway, that's enough from me. Put your questions and comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon.
One round finished. Do not let them breathe. Weapons ready. Move in. Reloading. We have the advantage. Keep pushing.